And we're back. And if you did not yet watch our live reactions to the Oscar nominations, that video is available right here on the network, so check that out. But if you already checked it out, then I'm sure you're ready to hear our explanation for everything. So we had snap judgments, and now we've had a little bit of time to think about it. I've been calculating exactly who won our little contest here. And we've talked a little bit amongst ourselves about exactly things that we're going to be talking to you guys in just a minute or so. So, without any further ado, this is going to be our nomination discussion. Now, this video is also going to be out later today, and then our final Oscar predictions are going to be out within the month. So, stay tuned for that. Plus, our Best of the Year video is coming actually sooner rather than later, so a lot earlier than I thought it was going to be, but we'll get to that. So, if you're new to the network, welcome. My name is Owen, this is AJ, Ashley's here via the magical powers of Google Hangouts, and you can actually hear him a lot better.
What's that?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god. Your t-shirt's coming to life right before my eyes. You guys can't see it, but I can assure you that Hoodie Man now has a Deadpool mask.
So, where are we starting? Are we just going in the order they were announced?
Yeah, that's what we're going to look at. So thanks to the Academy on Twitter, we actually have a list of everything. And we also have our predictions here, too, to see how well we did and how well we didn't do. I will state right...
how shit the format was this year.
Oh my god, there's two Ashleys and they're both speaking to me. Yeah, it's a very interesting format. There we go.
Seriously. The format was just...
Interesting.
I was expecting a 1-800 number to call up and tell me within the next 5 minutes I can get a statue myself for free if I order.
You know the price, $29.99. Felt like an amazing discoveries at like 5 o'clock in the morning in like the early 90s. It felt like an infomercial, it really did. It's like an Oscars infomercial. It's kind of like the ones that are promoting like the CD sets that no one ever buys.
The fact that it was dropped so late that they were going to do it in that fashion kind of makes you realize like...
Let's scramble. What do we do?
Maybe they knew it was going to piss all people off the format.
See, that's the reason they did it.
They don't have time to complain. We'll just put it out there.
Right, but to be honest, for all the backlash that it got, it wasn't terrible. I mean, a little bit of the lull in between, they really didn't need that. But I guess it's to get people to catch their breath. People do stuff like this, but it also allows for dead air, like it does for people do stuff like this as well. But we're going to start with... one of the most important categories that's been all over the boards this year, which is Best Supporting Actor. The actual nominees are Mahershala Ali for Moonlight, Jeff Bridges for Hell or High Water, Lucas Hedges for Manchester by the Sea, Dev Patel for Lion, and Michael Shannon for Nocturnal Animals. Yes, very happy for that.
I'm still upset about Hugh Grant.
Yeah, Grant missing is very strange.
I honestly really wanted that.
Right. And as I look through here, the list we have, you guys both went with Hugh Grant, and the group of us went with Liam Neeson, and they both missed.
We kind of were going against the whole... We should have been listening.
Yeah.
Silence maybe won't make a big splash or anything.
No.
But I mean, it felt like it could have.
It really could have, honestly. And...
Also, though... The fact that Aaron Taylor-Johnson gets no recognition, but Shannon does.
Well, I mean...
Which is completely going against the trend of practically everything else so far.
Right. And honestly, like I was saying all along, when I was saying Shannon, I was starting to get nervous when Aaron Johnson was starting to get nominated other places.
And win.
And win places, too, exactly. I was starting to think that my Michael Shannon prediction was out the window, but sure enough, when the nomination got announced, Michael Shannon's name's on that list. It's one of those situations that you have somebody that was doing really well, at least for a little bit, and then their co-star is the one that gets in.
This is the second year in a row now where a supporting actor has a precursor win that's not nominated. Because Idris Elba took SAG last year.
Now, who's nominated for SAG right now? Because this is Sunday, obviously.
It's Ollie, Bridges, Hedges, Patel, and Grant.
Okay.
It's them with Grant in Shannon's place.
Okay, that's interesting. Hedges, I mean, the thing about Lucas Hedges is I should have went with it because my head was telling me to go with him, and then I pulled him out at the last minute because it made sense that to stick with the Liam Neeson love that we've had for a long time since we started doing these predictions this year. And after the things we've heard about Silence, we knew that even in the trailers, he's not very much in it, which is a good thing for a supporting actor, especially when somebody is in the movie not that much. It's allowed to be a lot more of a gut punch when they come in because they're a lot more important. But Lucas Hedges sliding in, not being a surprise, but Liam Neeson missing here. We should have seen that all the signs were there, and we should have just stopped with wishful thinking this year, because that killed all of our predictions right now.
When I wasn't thinking about Hedges,
right,
what I wasn't thinking was, I was dismissing the idea of him because typically young male actors don't typically get attention.
Jacob Tremblay.
But, and I'm not saying this is the thing, because Hedges is really good.
Yeah, he is, and we put him over huge in the review.
I'm totally not mad that he's here.
I'm not either, at all.
But one thing I probably would have taken into consideration if I had known it by the time we did the last video was that I had no idea he was a product of nepotism.
Really?
His dad wrote What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Wow.
And he wrote and directed stuff like Dan in Real Life and The Odd Life of Timothy Green and stuff like that.
So basically, he was in the background, crawling on the floor the whole time, soaking it all in, and now that's the reason why he's
But to
doing
his
so
credit,
well.
I believe pretty much as an extra in Dan in Real Life is the only time he's actually been in one of his dad's movies.
Oh, fair point.
Yeah.
And
it's on his own merit.
And we talked about that chemistry, in the review, talk about the chemistry he had with Casey Affleck in the movie. It reminds me very much like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, Good Will Hunting. And I'm telling you right now that if something like this can get in, this performance is just a start to a career, and I think Lucas Hedges is going to do quite well for himself. He's not going to win. I don't see that happening. But he's getting in here is a big deal.
He's already worked with Wes Anderson twice and Terry Gilliam.
That's all that needs to be said. Exactly.
So he's going to be fine. This is just a starting point for him.
Beginning on here, I was kind of nervous about doing anything with Lion until everything happened with Garth Davis at DGA. But I very much felt comfortable with Lion as the race completed itself.
Yeah, people didn't seem to have confidence in Lion, but towards the end there, especially in December, it seemed like a pretty good bet.
I think we were some of the only people, and obviously we're not the only ones, but we were some of the only people that I'm aware of that were really heavily praising it when it comes to actual nominations. And I'm very glad to see this happen, given the fact that I went absolutely ballistically insane when I said Dev Patel to win the SAG, which, still could happen. You never know. Not likely, but anything could possibly happen at this point. Bridges being in here is awesome. There was a lot of people, I saw some predictions that were saying that what happened with Michael Shannon and Aaron Johnson was going to happen with Bridges, which Ben Foster would get his nomination. And I saw that actually happen in a few precursors before. Yeah. So that could have happened too.
Keep in mind as well, Patel's up for the BAFTA.
All right.
You know, it'd be hilarious if Aaron Taylor Johnson still wins the BAFTA.
I honestly wouldn't be shocked if that happens, honestly. I think it's going to be a good time, even though...
What's going to be really interesting is what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, it should be a lot of interesting things. We got a lot of award shows coming up, and the big ones are coming up now. And when it comes down to it, there's a lot of really interesting races that are going to be silenced this Sunday. And a lot of entertaining races that are going to be further solidified when we get to the BAFTAs. We have the Spirit Awards, which is kind of there, which is going to be a nice little trophy.
Ben Foster's there.
Exactly.
Ben Foster's at the Spirit Awards over Bridges.
Yeah, I know. That's the reason I brought up what I said a minute ago. But Ali getting in here, no shock, no surprise at all. He's been the front runner for a while, and then he lost the Globe, so who knows what's going to happen with him at this point.
I think he's got a good shot Sunday.
He's got a really good shot Sunday.
I'd love to see kind of a Bridges takeover here, honestly.
Like I said, I have Patel winning, but I'm not completely sold on it. I don't know. I guess I'm going for the shock value and the fact that they really could go for Lion that much. But BAFTA really went for Nocturnal Animals, so anything's really possible at this point. So the lineup really, when you look at it, is not that surprising. Overall, it's not that surprising. Because this is what a lot of people had going in, but slowly but surely they've taken out things left and right. So, Lucas Hedges was in, they took him out. Then Michael Shannon's in, let's put Aaron Johnson in instead. And no. It's
just the more
they flip it off. So
the more I stare at it, the more I love the Shannons here.
It's awesome, isn't it? I like or love I love every single performance that's in supporting actor this year. I'm very happy with that lineup.
It's a really good lineup.
Yeah, it is.
Weirdly enough, as good as he is, he's probably the weakest.
Yeah.
of the four, as far as my personal opinion.
Right. But Ashley, any thoughts on supporting actor before we move forward?
I understand, after having seen it, I get why Dev is up for supporting actor,
Oh, yeah.
even though he's first billed.
That's because of name recognition, I'm pretty sure.
That happens. Bridges is first too.
Yeah, that's
in his
true.
movie.
So
Is that the end of it?
that's the end of Ashley's conversation. We're going to move on
It always seemed confusing to me because all the trailers seem to just show Dev Patel's character.
Yeah, you don't
And
realize
then when
till
you
you watch
actually
it
get
how big
in,
of a
it's
thing
like
they
half the movie
Right.
isn't him. It's like, okay, I get it now. Or they realise he'd have more chance in supporting than he did in lead.
Well, when you watch the movie, you'll find out real quick he's definitely supporting, and he is the second half of the movie. And you timed it.
When we saw it, I actually looked at my watch
Yeah.
to see how long it took him to show up. It was 55 minutes, and the movie's an hour 58.
To be honest, the 5-year-old Saru should have got supporting actor. I think he did a better job.
I mean, I guess there's an argument to be made that he would be the lead, but I mean, I think maybe it's co-supporting at this point. I mean, they're both in half of the movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean... But we'll talk about another deserved nomination for Lion in a little bit. Now we're moving on to cinematography. The actual lineup is Arrival, La La Land, Lion, Moonlight, and Silence. Yes.
I'm surprised by the absence of Hacksaw Ridge here.
I'm kind of shocked. I'm not I didn't have it in here. Real quick, let's mention the eliminations here when it comes to the actual category. Hacksaw Ridge did not get in. Nocturnal Animals did not get in, and Hail Caesar didn't get in. So I really thought Nocturnal Animals had a shot at cinematography. I really did.
Who said Hail Caesar?
Ashley.
Oh.
He got a Hail
The way
Caesar
it was
nomination.
presented seemed like it was a shoo-in.
In a perfect world, like Cafe Society would have got in here too.
Yeah.
Honestly, Cafe Society should have been a lot bigger awards contender this year than it was.
I don't want to get mad at it because it is a really good-looking movie, but when I think back to Lion, cinematography is not something that stands out, honestly.
Not really.
Probably more so in the
Bar
first
the
half.
opening scene with the butterflies.
Mm-hmm. Very
Most
artsy
of the
shots, obviously.
cinematography was looking at a bloody Google Earth screen.
Oh my god, yes it was.
Or his face illuminated by the screen.
It's very well done, though.
We should have given best special visual effects to Lion, because it's like, how the hell did you dig up Google Earth as it was 8 years ago? Because you can't roll back on any of this shit on modern computers.
Isn't there like this internet Wayback Machine gimmick they have now too? So
It's like an archive thing.
yeah, exactly.
So a lot of people
I
called it.
I don't know whether they could accurately do that with Google Earth.
I don't know, maybe. I guess it depends. What were you saying, AJ?
When we were kind of trying to ignore everything, most people called it, this is Silence's only nomination, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is the one time out of all the nominations I gave it in my predictions, I did not go with it. Which is the reason why that I missed having a 5 for 5 here.
Well, it kind of sucks that they're going to be so up La La Land's ass. Because Silence could, like, really realistically take it, honestly, even though it's its only nomination.
La La Land could go 14 for 14 at this point. You never know at this rate.
That song is a tie.
And
They do it just to do it.
hey, you never know. La La Land will not become Roman Reigns. Here's the thing. I wanted Nocturnal Animals to get in here, and I had a lot of love for it, and I love the movie. And Silence getting in here over, and where are we? Yeah. Getting in here over Nocturnal Animals was probably more of a likelihood here, and I probably should have went for Lion here. I'm kind of surprised I didn't, because it seemed like a really out there choice at the point, but it also seemed like something I kept seeing. But I really wanted Nocturnal Animals in here, and I think it belonged in here. Like I said, Cafe Society should be in here if it's the perfect world. But there's really not much to say about cinematography here. Just kind of like, it's fine. It's okay for what it is. I don't think there's really anything else you can really say about it. A documentary.
I just want to point out that I don't have to worry about wondering whether Roger Deakins is going to win or not this year.
Nice. So, for documentary, we have Fire at Sea, I'm Not Your Negro, Life Animated, OJ Made in America, and 13th. For purposes of us, we had Camera Person. All three of us had Camera Person, so somebody must have thought that was going to do something. We all did. Tower didn't make it. 0 Days didn't make it. The Eagle Huntress didn't make it. And Wiener didn't make it.
Yeah, a lot of people love that.
Yeah, I know. It's very interesting.
My theory went down the drain that OJ Made in America was going to join the ranks of like Who Dreams and Life Itself and Waiting for Superman and all those.
No, not this year.
All 8 hours of it. There it is.
Get ready for your 8 hour time, sir. Might as well.
I honestly thought I'm Not Your Negro would not get in just because too many voters would be put off by the title.
Right. I mean, it was possible. I mean, I can honestly say that we have had access to one of these movies theatrically. And it was a special showing that was only there for one day and one time. And it was one of those showings that, like, they turn up the lights and everything. And, like, kids can run around like crazy people. Because that's one of those, like, I don't remember what the actual terminology for it is off the top of my head. But it's basically like a sensory showing is where, like, they have the lights up. And it's basically the movie's background noise. So, hey, Ashley disappeared again. But,
Fire at Sea just won the London Critics the day before yesterday.
Really? Interesting. I wish I would have known about that movie, but I didn't have it on my lineup.
I still haven't gotten to 13th yet, but it's been hanging out on Netflix like forever.
You're going to have to now.
Yeah.
So, Ashley, any commentary on documentary before we move on?
I'm surprised 0 Days hasn't made it in, because I'd have thought the subject matter would be something that the Academy would go for.
What is it about?
We've got arguably the same could be said for Wiener, but I'm really pleased to see, although I didn't pick it, I'm pleased to see that Life Animated made it in. I did have the chance to actually...
I had it in there.
I think 0 Days might have had some sort of theatrical release in certain places, but not here, but it was basically on TV within a week. Oh, okay, it was an edited down 90-minute version, but the fact that they had it on television that quick, meant that they clearly thought there was momentum there, but that never happened. But fuck Netflix.
Yeah, it's a little funny. There's something in here that's, I mean, apparently it got an appropriate run at some point, but it's still funny that there is a movie in here that was shown over ESPN for 5 days. Yeah.
Oh my God, Owen! You know what that means?
It means WWE still has hope.
30 on the XFL is going to win next year.
Oh God.
Is that it?
Yeah, we're moving on now to foreign language film. We have Land of Mine, A Man Called Oeuvre, The Salesman, Tana, and Tony Erdmann.
I have 5 for 5.
Yeah, you got 5 out of that. Congratulations.
Prediction-wise.
Where did you get that?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm not really sure what drew me to Tana either. Even
Yeah, I was starting to see that after we did our predictions. I was looking at other people. I was like, Tana keeps coming up, or I think that's the right pronunciation, but I'm not positive.
I should have realised, because they're showing that at my art house next week.
Australian film.
Because they always seem to be pretty good on showing the foreign stuff, although I think only one of them is technically making it. But then again, Tony Erdmann, I don't think opens here till about March. Not sure about the
Not seeing that in the Oscar time.
Man Called Ove and whatever.
Interesting here, for some reason, Tony Erdmann is the one that ends up being the one that I kept hearing about the entire season.
The Salesman's getting a lot too.
And then I started, like, talking up The Salesman, and I've not seen it, obviously. But it was the movie, for some reason, when I looked at the list, I looked at the short list, I was like, this is the movie I think that might win things. Don't have any sort of reasoning why I say that. I just think that may be the case.
Tony Erdmann seemed to start taking over once Elle got bumped out of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, every year there's a front runner that never makes it to the Oscars, and that's exactly what happened this year.
I'm still disappointed Under the Shadow missed out.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't in the short list, but, that alone, it's like, that probably is going to get best foreign. I was going to say, I think, is it up for Best Foreign in the BAFTAs? Let me have a quick look.
It's up for British movie.
Ah, that's right, yeah. That's where I saw it before.
The confusing thing about that is technically it is British, even though it's all in Farsi.
Oh.
Oh, okay, fair point.
So I guess technically it's... If the category in the BAFTAs was film not in English language, it probably would win.
It's a possibility.
In all honesty. So, but yeah, I honestly think, despite the fact it's up against quite a lot of heavy contenders in the British thing, it could do a double in that it wins British film and also debut for the producers and the writer-director.
It's very possible. Yeah. So, unfortunately, Tana is not a biopic about the star of Vegas, which would be funny if it was. Obviously, we're not talking about Dan Tana here. It'd be great if we were. I have to make that joke because I don't know anybody that's going to not make that joke at this point. Probably smart people.
Here's something we're going to talk a long time about.
Documentary short. So we have Extremists, we have 4.1 Miles, Joe's Violin, Watani My Homeland, and the White Helmets. For sake of us, we ended up saying Frame 394 for both of you guys said that. And The Other Side of Home, again, both of you guys said that. And I said The Mute's House. And Brillo Box. Nope, none of those happened. I'll be honest with you, when it comes to the shorts, they're really hard to see. The animated shorts are...
I got a hookup last year.
Yeah, you did. Doesn't happen every year, though. Usually, like, when they do the actual shorts, when they show them in theaters, they don't show all of them. They always miss out on at least one category in full.
It's always documentary.
Documentary short, and those are the ones that are normally the hardest to find.
Sometimes they play ones that they nominate ones that like play on HBO.
Right.
Like, you know that stuff that plays in between movies on HBO and shows where you're like, what even is this? Sometimes that stuff gets nominated here.
It is true.
Like that one, the one about the plant shutting down back in like 2009 or something. Remember that? That was an HBO documentary.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't forget that.
I looked at the write-up for Frame 394, after it missed. And looking at the subject matter where it's about, this frame, which apparently was crucial in some police shooting or whatever. If you look at the topics matter, you'd have thought that would be perfect Oscar contender, but I don't know.
I mean, that's why I'm glad I didn't do that, because if I would have done that, I probably would have made that error as well. I just kind of looked at the names, like, yep, this makes sense. We'll go with that.
Yeah, but I did it for the name. I'm pretty sure AJ did it for the name.
More or less.
I thought that something called Brillo Box would get in, okay? I guess not.
There's really not a whole lot of discussion here.
No, we're moving on to live action short. Hey, Ashley, you have the list in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
Can you so eloquently put the first title, please?
Enemy Interiors.
Thank you. And the second one, just to be safe.
La Femme et la TGV.
Good job. Silent Night singing time code. Reason why.
Like the fact, though, is there a film called The Woman and the TGV Train?
Eh?
Is this like the live action short of Girl on the Train?
Get used to that, everyone, because he's going to be doing that for the rest of the season. And by that, I mean the next video that we do when we actually do the actual predictions. So, for sake of us, I'm going to list that. Bon Voyage, Graffiti, Nocturne in Black, and The Rifle, the Jackal, the Wolf, and the Boy all missed. Yeah, that's pretty much all we need to say there.
That was terrible in this category.
You got one.
I know.
You got time code.
We
all got time code.
What's funny is I think I got almost all of them last year.
Normally you do, honestly.
But seriously, we were going on the names.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, Nocturne in Black.
How many people are going to misconstrue Sing being up for Best Live Action Short, though?
So, anybody that sees what they should have done is somebody should have predicted Sing was going to get an Oscar nomination, but not say which one it was going to be, and they would have won something that way. So, we're moving on to Best Actor already. Okay.
This is how hodgepodge this shit was from the Oscars.
To say the
It's
least,
like,
yeah.
you know, here's documentary short, here's live action short, here's best actor. What?
Yeah.
I mean, you've already seen that in reactions. Because Owen just went, what the hell?
Pretty much. So your Best Actor nominees, Casey Affleck for Manchester by the Sea, Andrew Garfield for Hacksaw Ridge, Ryan Gosling for La La Land, Viggo Mortensen for Captain Fantastic, and Denzel Washington for Fences. AJ, once again, 5 for 5.
Yeah, so, like they were saying, SAG was going to be really close, and that's about what it came to.
For sake of us, Edgerton missed, which, given what happened later on, I'm kind of shocked at right now, really.
Oh, because of Naga.
Yeah, we'll get to her in a minute. And my category fraud that should have probably would have never happened anyway, especially after the BAFTAs. Hugh Grant missed here too, so he didn't get into supporting actor, which he had a shot at, and he didn't get into actor, which I said because I'm a fool sometimes. So, and I didn't have any other reason to put anything in there. I had Vigo in here, and I would have had 5 for 5 as well, but I was like, no, I don't know about this. And sometimes when you second guess yourself, or third guess yourself, or fourth guess yourself, that's when you have pretty much screwed yourself. Honestly. Tom Hanks probably could have been here at one point, but he missed completely. I'm not completely shocked at that.
Sully died with not showing up at PGA.
Yeah, PGA was its last real shot.
And the guilds usually love Eastwood.
Oh, big time. One thing here with actor, another name that I threw up early in the list was Warren Beatty, and I know you hate Rules Don't Apply. That video is available here too on the network. But when it comes down to it, that wasn't going to happen either. So it shouldn't be a shock to anyone what the lineup was for Best Actor. Even though I did see like a very last-minute resurgence for Jake Gyllenhaal, which I'd love to have seen that happen. But
last-minute resurgence being BAFTA.
Yeah,
is
still
it
something
as
though.
well that Sully underperformed because of the whole Clint Donald stuff?
I'm not
Or
aware.
was it just because it was an average film?
Well, you're right, but I mean, I have no idea what you're talking about with the first thing you were talking.
Well, he was an avid supporter, and we know that a lot of
Look at him, of course.
the Oscar stuff, a lot of the Oscar people aren't huge fans.
Right,
I mean,
okay.
why else did Meryl get a standing ovation at the Globes?
Yeah, Meryl's not going to be invited to the Republican National Convention next year, that's for sure. Or who knows, maybe she will. So, yeah, really nothing to say about actor here. Very happy Denzel got in here, shutting a lot of people up that thought he wouldn't be here. I saw a lot of people that were predicting he wasn't getting in.
Because of the BAFTA bullshit?
No, not the BAFTA stuff.
Why?
No, I saw several people that were saying he wasn't going to get in. He was going to miss it the last minute.
Did they have a reason?
No, they didn't.
Idiocy?
Yes, pretty much.
Idiocy? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, very happy to see that this lineup ends up the way it is. It's pretty solid. Obviously the person that I'm not happy being in here is Garfield, but the only thing that I really would do with Hacksaw Ridge, they actually did do, so I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with him taking a spot from somebody else, but I understand why it was done. I know he was. I mean, he honestly, I'm surprised he missed EGA. No, he didn't miss EGA, did he?
You talking about Gibson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he missed EGA.
Okay, I was right. That's good.
Davis was in his place.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not wrong there, so that's good.
I thought you were talking about Garfield.
No, I'm not talking about Garfield. No, but yeah, we'll talk about Andrew Garfield in a couple of days because we got a Silence review coming up soon, so very soon. Silence and Jackie, sometime in the next several days, maybe next week. We'll see what happens. So let's move on to sound editing. So the sounds are really interesting every single year because usually it's 4 and then 1 is different, but not always. The lineup this time around is Arrival, Deepwater Horizon, Hacksaw Ridge, La La Land, and Sully. The sole nomination for Sully.
I'm really happy for Deepwater Horizon.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get a chance to see it. It was one of the movies that I missed while I was gone. You do have it on a compilation video. If you guys didn't see the review, it's available here on the network too. Notable missing here when it comes to sound editing, at least for our sake here. The Jungle Book, Rogue One, and Doctor Strange all missed here. And we obviously were thinking in the same page because all of us basically had most of those. Ashley, kudos to you for nailing Sully here.
I thought they were going to give some sort of recognition
Mhm.
for the sound in terms of whether it be editing or mixing for, getting the plain stuff right and all that.
Makes sense.
And, getting the rescue sort of stuff and the sound right. I thought it was going to get something. I didn't think it was. Well, I guess I thought it was only going to get as little as it did because I think that's the only one I predicted out the whole list as well for Sully. So
a big shock here was that the Jungle Book missed in the sounds. And all of us are obviously on the same page. Well, we were. We both predicted the Jungle Book. And I mean, Ashley predicting Doctor Strange here, which didn't really do very well either.
I did go on the whole it'd be more than just only one changes thing.
Yeah.
So I was a little right.
If you look at it, the sounds always nearly have like a big box office draw in both categories.
It's true.
The biggest one in that probably is a toss-up between Deepwater Horizon and Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Neither of which I would classify as blockbuster-style films.
No, if you work in a movie theater, you would know right away that I say this. Hacksaw Ridge would be the right answer to this. Deepwater Horizon didn't really do very well, I don't think, in the box office overall. I know it did nothing here. But that doesn't matter, because obviously we're a smaller town, so... Let's move on to sound mixing. The nominees are Arrival, Hacksaw Ridge, La La Land, Rogue One, and 13 Hours.
Just the other day, I saw something that said 13 Hours is campaigning hard for a sound nomination.
For a sound nomination? That's dedication right there to getting an Oscar nomination.
13 Hours that opened January the 15th last year.
Yeah. A movie that most people forgot even existed.
Which of these fuckers have got that long a memory?
Well, there's the animated movies that sometimes get into the category that come out early in the year too. So that's the only way I can really like.
Look what happened! Look what happened to the Lego movie with that bastards.
Wasn't a completely animated movie though. That's the thing. That's the argument that they're always going to give you. For sake of us,
a Monster Call be the best animated movie.
There's more animation in Krampus. Sound mixing. For sake of us, Star Trek Beyond missed. Captain America Civil War missed. Silence missed. The Jungle Book missed. And Hell or High Water missed.
Did you go Hell or High Water?
No, Ashley did. Oh. So. It's interesting. Let's move on to production design, which I have to move on to my second page here. The nominees for production design are Arrival, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Hail Caesar, La La Land, and Passengers.
I swear, if I had to predict production design any year to save my life, I would die. Because I just don't.
No, if you would... No, here's the thing. If you wouldn't have predicted La La Land, I don't know why you wouldn't have here, but you would have missed everything. You got one here.
Yeah. I thought we'd get, as far as costume and production design, I thought we'd get some, like... Oh yeah, I forgot this exists, like Love and Friendship and Miss Peregrine, but...
Yeah, sure your Burton analogy is out the window this year, too.
Well, that's good, though, because Burton always has to win production design, and it wasn't going to win, so they just said, all together.
Pretty much. So, Hacksaw Ridge missed here, which is interesting. Miss Peregrine missed, Love and Friendship missed, The Jungle Book missed, Fences missed, and Silence missed.
Well, Fences was very...
It's very ambitious. But Ashley, you did redeem yourself by, you've been saying it all year, Hail Caesar was going to get a nomination, and that's exactly where it happened.
I was going to say Fences was too small, but you went the opposite way.
Just because of the Hollywood thing. Then as soon as I saw La La Land, I was sort of doubting myself, but I just kept it in anyway.
Okay.
Passengers, if you look at like set design stuff, does make sense.
No. I say right now, I wish Cafe Society was in here once more. And I'm going to bring that up when categories it deserves. Passengers does not belong in this list at all.
Well, it's not like it's totally unmerited.
No, it's not, but it doesn't belong here with the other four. It's easily the weakest of the four.
I feel like there is another choice that Hail Caesar could be replaced with.
I mean,
But I'd replace Passengers before Hail Caesar. At least it looked nice.
I applaud the set design, but obviously, even in terms of sci-fi films, it's not the strongest on the list.
No, not even close. A Best Picture nominee is, without a doubt. So we're moving on to visual effects.
Very interesting list here.
Yeah, very interesting list. And again, we were like half and half there on that. Visual effects: Deepwater Horizon, Doctor Strange, The Jungle Book, Kubo and the Two Strings, and Rogue One.
I say again, I'm very happy to see Deepwater Horizon here.
I'm super happy Kubo's in here, honestly. I didn't predict it, but I'm very happy it got in.
Because I say this again, I knew Kubo was getting a second nomination outside of animated. I just picked the wrong one.
And no one went with it. For visual effects, Arrival didn't get in here.
Is this the first time for an animated movie?
Yeah, I think it is. I think that makes sense if it is.
Right.
Yeah. Arrival didn't get in here. The BFG is not in here. Fantastic Beasts isn't in here. Passengers isn't in here.
I'm glad Fantastic Beasts is not in here.
Really?
Like, I know if people love the movie, no matter how much you love the movie, those creatures look like shit.
Yeah.
Despite all the work and everything that went into the technology, Passengers missing is somewhat of a snub.
A little bit.
I mean, it doesn't belong in here over anything that got nominated. I'll say that right now. And that's only seeing like the stills of Deepwater Horizon and remembering the trailer somewhat.
I guess Deepwater Horizon gets credit for being somewhat practical effects, not just digital.
I don't mind the visual effects lineup. That's actually not terrible.
I'm honestly going to be upset if The Jungle Book doesn't win.
I think it's going to run away with this without a doubt.
I mean, I'm calling it. I'm probably calling it now. I think Doctor Strange is going to do it.
I mean, it's not the weakest choice here, so I mean, it's possible. You never know. Deepwater Horizon can even win this.
The Arrival snub is weird.
Yeah, the Arrival snub was really weird.
Like, I know there wasn't like a shitload, but
considering Doctor Strange, The Jungle Book, and Rogue One are in there, Disney's going to win it.
Disney's going to has done really well this award season so far, with one notable exception, with Finding Dory missing, but we'll get to that. Costume design, we have Allied, Fantastic Beasts, Florence Foster Jenkins, Jackie, and La La Land.
First off, stop hating on a movie you slept through. Allied is perfectly fine, and I don't mind this nomination, but I would have put it in production design first.
Why is it here over other things, though? Like, let's look at your list. You Live by Night.
I simply have to say to the Academy, is this a game? Is this a game? I'm not a fan.
Live by Night.
Sorry for the interruption.
It's fine. Live by Night, Miss Peregrine, and Love and Friendship. And Silence. I don't understand. I mean, okay, with Allied, I will give you the fact that period costumes do make sense.
I don't know why I didn't go with Jackie.
Yeah, lie.
I kept telling myself to, and then I just didn't.
Seriously.
Because my first thought was, well, it's just them replicating shit. Maybe they won't go for that.
Right. Florence Foster Jenkins getting in here was good. I like that. Obviously, there's no reason for me to really even talk about the greatness of La La Land. We'll get to that later. But not with the lower categories. But still, it's really cool to see some things like this get in here. And after seeing these films, I understand why everything is in here. I'm not a fan of some things, but I understand why it's there. That makes sense to me. Makeup and hair. This has been something that a lot of people have been talking about. Probably more than most of the acting categories this year because of all the way it's up in the air. I'm not talking about the people like us that predict things. I'm talking about like the general public. Because of one thing and one thing only. What's on his t-shirt right now?
Yeah, I don't understand where everybody was Okay, look, after the guilds came out and Devil did relatively well, even though it was clear it was always in the last spot.
Of course.
I never understood why people thought it was such a go-to for makeup. Because the only thing I can think of...
Burn makeup.
...is his face.
Yeah.
Which... that's once again though, it's not like it's because it's the most, so it wouldn't get in just because it wasn't that little. But it was so little. I don't know. It was clearly like Killer Croc and Suicide Squad was undeniable.
Yeah, I really wish I would have went with Suicide Squad here, and I
like
should have.
Like I was saying, people were saying, well, Deadpool got, PGA and WGA and stuff like that.
Oh.
But the thing is, they weren't voting for the movie they liked the best.
No.
They saw reels of how it was done, and that's how they voted.
Exactly.
That's how I was like, there's no way they don't go for Killer Croc. Like, just no way.
Yeah, and I totally should have went for that, and I would have had a perfect score if I did.
I think there are still people convinced Killer Croc's CGI, and he's not.
That may be part of it, then.
So them seeing a reel was a good thing.
So the official nominees for Best Makeup and Hairstyling are A Man Called Oeuvre, Star Trek Beyond, and Suicide Squad. So Florence Foster Jenkins missing here is very interesting.
Yeah, I should have gone with a weird one, because I went with The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out a Window Just Appeared last year.
And it worked quite well for you.
It sounds like last year goes with the title.
It does. It really does, honestly.
Yeah, but the irony is, looking at the plot for A Man Called Owen,
I think you're
it doesn't look like it's got the same sort of makeup and hair techniques that a 100-year-old man would have had. It's just this old guy in this town. It's not like anything like dramatic stuff. I guess this is going to be just now the new trend given foreign film.
I was so just there. Not boring, you're just kind of there. So yes, let me be the first to say Deadpool is not an Oscar nominee, and life is good.
Yeah, I didn't really... All those things it was up for seemed like a stretch.
People were talking about Ryan Reynolds coming in at the last minute, and people were like, it's going to sneak in a screenplay, and I'm like, no.
It only got in at WGA because Loving and Moonlight were an original.
There was a lot of things ineligible, too. Yeah. Just like every time that...
Like Lion.
It got nominated. Yeah, no lie, Lion totally would have been in there in its spot. Especially when we saw what happened with Lion in the long run.
And as I said in the prediction video, the only reason it got in at PGA was because... they love the fact that it was such a low budget and made so much money.
Right.
So yeah.
I mean, it's still got a shot to win some things this year, but
this is probably misleading. Me wearing this today probably makes it look like I was rooting for it. I really wasn't. This just happened to be the shirt on the top of my pile. So.
And obviously, if you look at my Fandango shirt, it's the only item of clothing I have that has the word "La La" on it, so that's the reason I went with it. Even though I only break the shirt out for Halloween Horror Nights, that's about it. So I'm kind of breaking tradition. So I might have killed the movie if I was the albatross that you've been in the past to movies, but I wasn't this year, thankfully. Nothing really to say other than that. Ashley, you did have Hail Caesar in here. That was the other option. I think too many times they focus on one and not the other. It's like, these are all makeup, but they don't normally go for hairstyling, so they might as well just change it to best makeup, honestly, because they don't really focus on the hairstyling as much. I know that's a really weird thing to say, but it's true. It really is.
I was just going to have a quick look at last year's and see whether that was a one or the other.
Okay.
Scroll.
So we're moving on as he scrolls and scrolls and scrolls. Thank the Phoenicians. Anyway.
Where the hell is it?
Some of you might get that.
I didn't find it. Oh yeah, Mad Max Fury Road, 100-Year-Old Man and Revenant.
That's really interesting.
So that's arguably more hair than makeup.
It flips.
I could have told you that without him having to look that up, but I didn't. I couldn't tell what he was looking for. So
of course you could have.
So all that time,
you know this stuff.
We could have filled in that time.
And I have, for some reason, my nose is itching right when we start to get into the important stuff. Original score. The nominees are Jackie, La La Land, Lion, Moonlight, and Passengers. I can't remember anything about the music of Passengers.
It's very. Yeah.
It's very there.
It's what you'd expect out of a movie that looks like Passengers.
The big snub for me here, obviously, is Nocturnal Animals. I love the score.
Wayward Sisters alone should have gotten Nocturnal Animals in.
No lie. Don't know why that happened.
Do you remember which track Wayward Sisters was?
It's the opening, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured it was. Because that
How
just...
the hell did a Pokemon got nominated for Best Original Score?
No, what is it?
What are you talking about?
Probably one of the...
Jackie's score was composed by Mikachu.
So many nose scratching moments right now.
The most embarrassing thing is that she's... Oh, I see. It's actually Micah Levi, except she's known as Mikachu.
Oh, okay, fair point. So let's look at
Is she
things.
that stupid?
Let's see things that missed here. Obviously, the big one for me is Nocturnal Animals. It definitely should be in here, especially over Moonlight. I did not know it was Thomas Newman, though. That's really strange.
We sat there and watched the credits.
No, I didn't realize. No, we see so many movies, I don't remember exactly who's doing what.
It still sucks that Arrival wasn't eligible.
Yeah, no lie, because a lot of us, I know you did, and I know a lot of us did. It's like, well, you gave me the phone call. It's like, well, we're going to have to change some things. Like, what do you mean? It's like, well, I hope you didn't have Arrival in score. And I was like...
Silence wasn't eligible, too, but I don't even know if that matters.
No, it totally didn't. So if you look at the lineup here, the Jungle Book missing was interesting. And Kubo and the Two Strings missing as well. And Rogue One and Moana.
Yeah, the biggest one is Moana.
Interesting.
Because I thought
Very
that was
tranquil,
probably
like I
the
said in
strongest
the previous
contender
video.
to La La Land.
Huh?
Now it's not in there. I think La La Land's got it won already.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. The music in Jackie, honestly, like, the score for Jackie sets the tone for everything. So I think that's...
Well, we haven't seen it, but I know you...
Look at the trailer. Like, the trailer itself, it's the song from... It's the score. The trailer and the score and everything makes perfect sense. And when you take the scenes you have in the trailer and you put it with the score behind it, I completely understand why it's in there. Lion being in here, I'm happy with that. Very much so.
I honestly don't remember much on Lion.
To be honest, I'm just happy when Lion
I
gets
feel, if I
some
were to hear it
consideration.
again, I'd probably
Right.
oh yeah, that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't off the top of my head, I don't remember it.
Moonlight getting in here, not completely shocking either.
And between the score and the cinematography, I'm kind of falling behind on these. I don't remember what was in Lion.
You've watched everything, so I think you can give yourself a Barry Horowitz pat on the back for that. Especially because of calling a lot of things that a lot of people didn't. Like I said, I would replace Passengers with Nocturnal Animals because it's a stronger score, but I mean, it's not a bad lineup. It really isn't, overall. Best original song. So, we have Audition, The Fools Who Dream from La La Land. We have Can't Stop the Feeling from Trolls. We have City of Stars from La La Land. Yes, double nom. And The Empty Chair from Jim, the James Foley story.
It's always a documentary.
Yep.
It's always a documentary.
Nothing to do with Mick, sorry guys. And How Far I'll Go from Moana. These are all pretty obvious, really, except for the fact that we picked the necessary wrong out of nowhere prediction here. Like, you, on one hand, went with Burt Bacharach for Dancing with Your Shadow. And you also went with the Hidden Figures song, I See a Victory, which is interesting because Ashley went with the other Hidden Figures song called Runnin', which missed. AJ and myself both went with the Sing Street, Drive It Like You Stole It, and Ashley went for a surprising nomination for The Great Beyond from Sausage Party, which would have been great. It kind of reminded me when like Blame Canada got nominated at the Oscars. What'd you say? I kind of talked over you, sorry.
Great Beyond is a stronger song than Can't Stop the Feeling.
I think it's the fact that it's Justin Timberlake. I mean, you have Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling. You have Justin Timberlake. Now you have apparently Sting is behind the Empty Chair song, and I hope they go with the Cravalho version of How Far I'll Go, which I'm sure they will because the Alessia Cara one is not as good, obviously. So I have a feeling it's going to be a really good night for performances too, especially for like show-stopping performances. I think they're going to do a lot with set design with them this year.
I'm worried about that, at least in terms of your hopes, Owen. Does two La La Land songs split the vote?
A lot more people are going for City of Stars right now. It seemed like it's the song to beat at this point. I don't think anything else has got a chance to win.
I'm just honestly thinking Miranda's going to win.
No.
Because they want to give him the EGOT as soon as possible so they can get rid of him.
They're not going to get rid of him.
So, we know that the Oscars don't like taste because of what happened last year.
Oh, yeah, that did suck.
I still don't even know how that happened.
Yeah, no one liked that. You know, honestly, that almost could have gotten like a very unfavorable reaction. Like it could have gotten actually booed at the Oscars because I know so many people hated that
Especially
decision.
after the big spectacle Lady Gaga was.
Oh my god, no lie. how important that song is and the things behind it, and then Sam Smith comes out with his lackluster song from a Bond movie and wins. I think, like I said, the Oscars are just going to be happy to be able to have Justin Timberlake and Sting perform, to be honest. And I think that's going to be great. Because I could totally see the City of Stars just Ryan in the piano with the set. And then, obviously, you have the audition, which is set up with a spotlight. Can't Stop the Feeling can be done in an animated sense with, like, the trolls and everything, like they've done in the past with, like, the Minions. I think that makes sense. How Far I'll Go will probably be, like, a big, like, show-stopping number that has a lot of, like, background dancers and everything. I think that the empty chair could literally just be Sting in the chair.
So, but the win would be empty. So, yeah, I wasn't sure if he just performed it or if he wrote it. So, yeah, but officially, Justin Timberlake's an Oscar nominee.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
That's exactly right. Yes.
I wasn't sure if he wrote it or he just performed it, so...
All you other members of NSYNC, get on that. You need to get on JT's level.
You're next, Joey Fat One.
Exactly! But your restaurant's awesome, so there. And you're a really nice guy. I met you at Horror Nights last year.
Let's keep going.
Anyway. Original screenplay. I like this lineup a lot. I didn't see The Lobster, but I have to now. Hell or High Water, La La Land, The Lobster, Manchester by the Sea, and 20th Century Women. Very happy 20th Century Women's in here, because I had a lot of hopes for it when it comes to predictions. And I'm glad that it actually got something, given the fact it wasn't going to get much, apparently. A big shock here for you, AJ, is Captain Fantastic missing out with all the love it got at the SAGs.
Yeah, I am a little surprised, even though I was predicting 20th Century Women, and it's like I said, as soon as Ashley said The Lobster, I was like, shit, I should have said that.
Yeah. No, you've been saying that since the video. I remember you said that specifically to me, and I think you said it after you were done. It was like, when we were having the actual discussion, you were saying, I probably should have said The Lobster. It made sense. And you didn't, and now we've got... Ashley, you called The Lobster all year. Congratulations.
I mean, it's sort of... Because of how quirky and original it is, it's sort of stuck with me since seeing it, February or March-ish? It didn't come out for you guys until I think like August, September.
Is that on a review video? I don't think it's on. No, it's one of the ones we missed.
Certainly, it was more towards the summer than earlier in the year. Like we got it. So
it was nominated at last year's BAFTAs.
It's a shame it's up against La La Land because it ain't gonna win.
That's a solid line. I'm so happy that Taylor Sheridan got in here too. It wasn't in question towards the end, but...
Best original screenplay.
Another thing that didn't happen with you, Ashley, is you picked a very surprise nomination for Zootopia here.
I saw that. I saw a lot of people going for that. But it was never really... It seemed never that much in the conversation.
It was a strong story, and I thought the story was more powerful to some extent than Inside Out.
I mean, to me, Zootopia kind of got, I can't say ruined, but it kind of got, like, a little bit of a black eye for me because I had to keep hearing about it over and over again. And I liked the movie, but it was kind of like, when it came down to it, I didn't love the movie. I mean...
A second time really helped for me.
Yeah, I need to watch it again, honestly. And I may have to now. I went with Florence Foster Jenkins here. I was thinking that the love of the movie would actually get spread out a little bit, and it didn't happen.
So to go kind of...
Yeah, it could have went
the other,
half and half.
Well, it got Streep in this and this, but it didn't get Grant.
Yeah, that's interesting. And same thing you can say about Joel Edgerton getting in for not getting in and Ruth Negga getting in instead, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, like...
Loving's very interesting at this point, especially because it seemed like it literally pulled Latino Man and came out of nowhere. So...
We already talked about Rogue One.
I know we have, exactly. We're moving on to Best Adapted Screenplay. We have Arrival, Fences, Hidden Figures, Lion, and Moonlight.
It wasn't going to go any other way.
It should have, though. I mean...
I think this is the category for everybody to complain Oscar's so white, because Arrival shouldn't be in there. Should have a film with black people in it.
Forrest Whitaker's in it.
That's true.
I don't count.
He dies, but he's in it.
That's Rogue One.
That's what
I thought he died in Arrival too.
I don't believe so.
Are you sure?
Quite honest though, that's Forrest Whitaker in nearly every film.
That is true.
You got killed off in Street Kings.
That's a weird one to jump to first.
That is a very weird one to jump to.
That's the first one that I thought of.
He survived out of
it's like...
Yeah, that's true.
Why are we on this?
Adapted screenplay is the most probably diverse lineup we've had in a long time. Like, for everybody that's complaining about like the Oscar so white thing, here you go. Adapted screenplay is the most diverse lineup we've had in a long time.
Plus 2 of the 5 are adapted by their original authors.
Right. Loving Missing Here.
Obviously, you've got the Fences play and the In Moonlight Black Boys Look Blue screenplay that Sir Alvin McCraney did.
Right. We talked about this before. Loving not getting in here, I don't think it's a big shock, honestly. But we were pretty much discounting Loving completely out of the entire race, and then things happened, so...
Thing happened.
Yeah, but still, it's a big thing, to be honest. It's a big thing that also shut a lot of people up quickly, unfortunately. I'm not saying anything bad about the performance, because I can't say anything personally, because I didn't get a chance to see Loving, but I mean... I can't say that about many things. I saw most of everything this year. I still need to catch up on a couple things, but I've been caught up on things, and I'm very covered on most things this year. A lot more than I have been in years that I actually fully watched everything. I still feel like I'm a lot more covered this year. Nocturnal Animals belonged in here. I really thought it should have been in here. It's a very strong script, and I think it should be here. I understand why Hidden Figures is in here. The writing is it's there, it's fine, but that's not all that screenplay's about. Obviously, there's directional dialogue, stuff like that. I wouldn't have put it in here, but that's because I think there's stronger movies than that. But I understand why it's there. I mean, this isn't a very bad lineup. I can say, I can say this and mean it. Boom covered theatrically.
Alright, so...
We're moving on to animated, which is weird that it's this far down. I think there's an indie wrestling booker somewhere that set up this lineup, because it makes sense. The nomination for Best Animated Feature, we have Kubo and the Two Strings, Moana, My Life is Zucchini, The Red Turtle, and Zootopia.
I was one off because I had Sausage Party instead of The Red Turtle, because I thought they'd just throw a curveball like that. Not to mention, Sausage Party has a very prestigious distributor.
Yeah.
But if I remember thinking, if I was going to replace Sausage Party, it would have been The Red Turtle. I was this fucking close.
Right. The interesting thing about the predictions here, when it comes to us, Sausage Party missing out, it could have honestly snuck in here. It really could have easily. Ashley here had Your Name, which apparently was getting a lot of buzz towards the end.
People were going crazy for it.
Sing, which ended up doing absolutely nothing in the long run. And I had Finding Dory because I was playing it a little bit safer. That's saying The Red Turtle was the one that would get in of like the weird nominations.
It does say a lot, though. 2 of the biggest studios in Pixar and Illumination got nothing.
Right. I mean, you got...
Walt Disney in-house studio got 2.
I did say that it would be Kubo and Disney versus The Red Turtle. I did not think My Life is a Zucchini would get in here, but it did. You did call that. Congratulations on that.
I put it in foreign film and I didn't put it in animated.
Yeah, that's the mistake a lot of us made here. Not surprising on here. I mean, in a perfect world, I'd love to see Kubo win this. It's not going to happen, but it'd be great. I'd love to see that happen. Easily the strongest movie of this fight.
Funny, since we're using the Twitter feed for the Academy,
right?
How little the retweet number is for the shorts compared to the bigger categories.
Yeah, no lie. So, a lot of in the replies, too. Like, look at that. Animated short's got 9 replies. And we have Best Animated Short. We have Blind Vaisha, Borrowed Time, Parasiter and Cigarettes, Pearl and Piper.
I wanted to say Parasiter and Cigarettes just because that's a cool title.
It's a cool title. I like that. The Head Vanishes missed. Once Upon a Line missed. Under Your Fingers missed. So, didn't do very well predicting animated short, AJ, but...
I got Borrowed Time and Piper.
Yes, you did. The ones that all of us got. Inner Workings not getting in here, kind of a surprise. Happy End missing. It was just kind of there. It was just a guess I had.
the inner workings isn't stoic enough.
Right. I mean, it's better than Piper, no matter what anybody says, but still, Piper got in here. I thought it was going to be a double.
You notice the
animated's horrible with Disney.
The animated shorts aren't as lively as they used to be.
No.
Like back when we had stuff like the Lady and the Reaper and like Octopody and stuff. Now,
yes.
Now everything is like so solemn.
Yeah, Logo-Rama. Come on, man. That is the short of all shorts. This Way Up and Logo-Rama are the shorts of all shorts. And if you've never watched either one of them, my advice to you is go watch them after this video.
What drugs was the Academy smoking 15 years ago?
They need to get them back.
Because I just noticed that
the
the Treasure Planet got nominated for Best Animated Feature back in 2002.
What? Why? Such a
remember the really, really big prestigious lineup for the very first time?
No.
The very first time animated was a category?
No, not that much.
Shrek was the winner.
Right.
Monsters, Inc.
Right.
Jimmy Neutron. Not that I would ever speak ill of Jimmy Neutron, but I mean when you look at the three, one sticks out.
Yeah, Spirited Away lost to Treasure Planet and Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron.
The Matt Damon animated horse movie.
All right. Are we done with animated?
We are done with animated. Let's move on to supporting actress.
It's never going to be anybody else.
It should have been.
Like, as soon as Glow came out, this was done.
Best supporting actress, Viola Davis for Fences, Naomi Harris for Moonlight, Nicole Kidman for Lion, Octavia Spencer for Hidden Figures, Michelle Williams for Manchester by the Sea.
I can't go through this without saying how much I love seeing Nicole Kidman nominated again.
I'm very happy she's there. She deserves it. I went with Greta here. I thought it'd be a last minute. I'm just happy she's got a little bit of love this year. Rachel Weisz, interesting. Ashley went with Rachel
Trust me, again, if I'd have seen Lion by the time the end of December came on, Rachel Weisz would not have been in there. Because I'm pretty sure I had Kidman in at least for some part,
right,
of the picks over the months,
and
it just dropped out because I was never hearing anything about it. Because I don't know, because it never really got that much buzz. If it was even shown at, like, the London Film Festival, I didn't hear anything. And then all of a sudden, it starts getting globed, and I guess then I should have, clicked onto it, but...
Yeah, it would have made sense, but just... the lineup was probably never in question. Octavia Spencer getting in everywhere else should have been a red flag, but... I mean, I kind of wanted to see what they would do, but they ended up just being obvious, so...
Janelle Monáe
is so much better. She's one of the only things I like about that movie. I do like Taraji.
We're talking about Moonlight here.
Too. I like Taraji. She's good too. Hidden Figures.
Yeah, but I'm saying we could have just nominated her for both.
Take Octavia Spencer out, put that in. That's fine.
As well as Mahershala Ali. I didn't realize it's like, okay, they're both in those films.
Yeah, and
they're clearly trying to monopolize the entire awards thing.
They're both in
every film has got them in.
And my theater got one movie and never got the other. I'm sure you're surprised.
We were never gonna get Moonlight.
No,
we were always leaving town for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I said at the beginning of the season, we're going to see the best picture in Athens, and that is true. 100% a guarantee now.
Okay, you realize how lost that is on pretty much everybody that's watching this.
The place that we watch our movies. We were going to see it in independent cinema. There you go. That's better. We're going to go to editing now.
Moonlight at Athens?
Yeah.
Okay, so you covered that. Damn
it. I'm not covered because I missed Hell or High Water and Hacksaw Ridge.
No, but let's be honest. It's a two-horse race for Best Picture, but we'll get to that.
Yes, it is. Editing, we have Arrival, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water, La La Land, and Moonlight. Not surprising here, really.
I have had
Silence.
I wasn't so hooked on Silence.
Silence here. My problem was not going with Arrival here. I didn't realize how much of a juggernaut it was going to be. I was predicting it in lower tier awards, like the text, but I didn't really think it would go to editing. Manchester by the Sea missing here was a kind of a shock, honestly.
I'm glad though. Like
I'm glad it's not here either, but
like I said, it's good, but at the the pacing's its problem.
Right.
So
I had Jackie in here. That didn't work. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We all pretty much went with the same ideals of Manchester and Silence, and they both missed. So we both didn't get that point. You guys very well predicting Hell or High Water. Very happy that happened.
Yeah, I'm so happy it's here. That's great.
Very happy that happened. And you guys both predicted Hacksaw Ridge. No shock that it's in here. I should have went with it. I went with what I thought the picture frontrunners were at the time. Honestly, I don't know why I put Silence. I put Silence in there because I thought it fit in there. I guess I would say, even though that I've said before, like when Whiplash went editing, I was thinking, I was like, oh, when's editing is usually going to be now from now on in time is going to be like a picture frontrunner. It's not going to be like the big action movie anymore. Watch next year be completely different.
The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo put that to rest.
Right.
I mean, it's still it's not a constant thing.
No, it could go either way at this point. Speaking of that, here's another surprise that probably shouldn't have been a surprise, but was.
It's the fuck you sunshine cleaning category.
Yeah, no lie. Good God. Yeah, that's no comment. So we have Best Actress. Best Actress is Isabelle Huppert for Elle, Ruth Negga for Loving, Natalie Portman for Jackie, Emma Stone for La La Land, and Meryl Streep for Florence Foster Jenkins. We all pretty much were on the same page here. Amy Adams missing here is a big surprise. A lot of people didn't have her. A lot of people had her in their lineup.
Some people were saying,
some
people were saying she was vulnerable, but I didn't buy it at the time.
I mean, I think,
especially with how good that movie did. This is weird.
It doesn't make any sense. And Negga getting in here. I mean, you've seen Loving, obviously. We have a video that exists here on the network. But and Elle getting in as okay. Let's talk about Negga first. I don't recall the review off the top of my head, and for those of you that haven't seen it yet and haven't watched it yet, when it comes down to it, her performance, does she belong here?
Me personally?
Yes.
No. It's one of those cases
you see why she's here, though.
It's one of those cases where it's very... She's... You could say subtle.
Okay.
It's very, very, very subtle.
So why is she in here versus, like, performances like an Amy Adams or an Annette Bening or...
Because she was in the Warcraft.
Because she was in Warcraft?
Yeah, she was Dominic Cooper's wife.
You remember more about that movie than I forgot.
She was the Queen of Stormwind.
I did not know that. It's interesting. Everybody was pretty much saying towards the end, like, Meryl Streep's gonna miss, and like, no, didn't happen. Of course it wasn't gonna happen. Never was gonna happen here.
When she hit SAG, it was done.
Yeah, it was done.
Meryl Streep's there. She's probably gonna get in.
Yeah, normally. It's kind of a running joke here, and a lot of people have used it as such, but it's not smart to bet against Meryl Streep. It happens, but it's not normally smart to do so.
It's the role of J-Law and Meryl. If one isn't in, the other will be. Yeah,
and Lawrence was never getting in here, so that's what answered your question.
I just need to mention
Taraji too.
I made it clear in the SAG video we just did that I was not a fan of Huppert or Elle.
Right.
And Huppert's never, but regardless of how, now everybody's trying to play up that she's always been this legendary actress that everybody just thinks is the greatest thing. All the movies I've seen her in of any origin, like any country,
right?
She's never done anything for me ever. And that just kind of is the fuel to the fire that my heart is incredibly broken about Blunt. And I know Blunt was a very, very last minute entry in this race.
But it got really strong
because of SAG. Because SAG, she got nominated for SAG, and it was like, oh, she's the weird nomination, end of story. And then she got BAFTA. And yeah, the fact that she's British probably helped. Right. But still, she had SAG and BAFTA, the golden two.
Right.
So my hopes got higher than they should have, and now my heart's broken, and it's my fault, my own fault.
It stinks because, I mean, I can't say anything to Huppert or Negga's performances. I can say to the other three. At least, I can't really say anything about Portman. The trailer, it says a lot, but it doesn't say anything at the same time, if that makes any sense.
Did you see what happened with London this past weekend?
No, not following the race.
Isabel won, but for
Not like
things to
that.
come, not out.
Yeah, because it hasn't been released in the UK yet, so they have to go by things to come.
Oh my god.
So they found some excuse to give the award to her.
That's ridiculous.
I've also just noticed she's got at least 5 or 6 films that she's doing that are supposed to be coming out in 2017 alone.
You know what looks really, really dumb in retrospect?
What's that?
That thankfully I wasn't part of.
Hmm.
There was some overzealous Huppert fans who really took her Globe win really seriously. So everybody was starting to say, obviously she's here, so her Globe win meant something, I suppose. But
A little bit.
well, not that voting would cross over, but
Right. I know what
what
you're trying to say.
But what I'm getting at
Visibility.
is people thought that the Globe loss for Portman meant that she was falling off.
I don't
Like
know.
there were people, because Huppert won the Globe, people were doubting Portman would even be here.
I don't see where they were coming from here.
I think they were seeing what they wanted to see.
In all actuality, the biggest shock here is Nega, honestly. Even though she was really solidified early on, but then fell off.
People still kept throwing her out there.
I know, but most people completely just
I wasn't
discounted
one
her.
of them,
Right. None of us were, according to this here.
I'm more amazed that Amy Adams missed.
Yeah, that's a big one. I don't know why Adams isn't in here.
And the thing is,
Annette Bening too.
and it's very harsh to say, but we know why Ruth Negga's in there.
Oh, God.
And it's Oscars so white.
I hope that's incorrect, and I don't see a reason why it would be. They should be in by their merits
if
and
we're
not.
looking on that case, and
politics.
admittedly I haven't seen Loving yet, but
That's why I'm not saying anything
if
about
her
Loving, 'cause I can't.
performance in Loving doesn't turn out to be
Stop.
that good,
Yeah, it does.
if
Sometimes.
we are going to do the token entry, I'm surprised they didn't give it to Henson. That's one of the very few strong things in that film.
I mean, people can use that excuse, but I mean, Nega was always here, even if she was. Even if she was on the outskirts.
She was extremely on the outskirts for the end,
Yeah.
but I guess we're moving on now. Best director.
That is so confusing that Villeneuve's here with the Adams snub.
Denis Villeneuve for Arrival, Mel Gibson, Hacksaw Ridge, Damien Chazelle for La La Land, Kenneth Lonergan for Manchester by the Sea, and Barry Jenkins for Moonlight.
I gotta say, and I took out Villeneuve, who I had in forever.
Yeah, you did.
To put Gibson in his place. Never thought they'd get in together.
Yeah. The big snub here is probably a snub to only people that were paying attention to the race, and that's Martin Scorsese for Silence.
Yeah. A lot of people thought he could have gotten...
if he would have got DGA, he might have been set.
A lot of people were saying, like what Lynch did with both of his nominations, where, let's say it got snubbed in cinematography and Scorsese got in.
Right.
Scorsese would be its only nomination.
Yeah.
Well, some people thought that was going to happen.
I will say that it's funny because you split if Gibson or Villeneuve were going to get in, and they both got in. And it's funny because Ashley ends up reversing this and putting him in and not putting Gibson in. So you both skipped on both, which is interesting. We all had Scorsese here. We all pretty much had the same lineup. It was always going to be Chazelle, Jenkins, and Lonergan, and everybody else was just kind of there.
It's kind of funny to watch Villeneuve and Gibson here, because it's basically what happened to me in 2013 with Scorsese and David O. Russell.
Yeah.
The Wolf of Wall Street, American Hustle. I was like, it's going to be one of them. It's definitely going to be just one of them. Nope, it's both of them.
You should have went with history, to work for you and on your benefit this time around.
But the weird thing was that was about Scorsese getting in. This is about Scorsese falling out.
Garth Davis isn't here. Very big surprise for DGA. Tom Ford's not in here.
A lot of people started to get hellbent on the idea DGA was going to match, but I never got quite on the Garth Davis train.
Yeah, I mean it would have been
Garth Davis train given what happens in the movie.
Yeah, I know. The surprise. Well, for me, something I had happening here was Denzel. I thought Denzel would get in as a director, and it didn't happen. So, I mean,
I am relieved Fences didn't fall behind though.
Yeah, Fences still did quite fine for itself, but I'd like to have seen him get in here. Yeah, this was pretty much almost always going to be the lineup. I've seen Hacksaw Ridge, so I can talk to seeing the movie. It's fine for what it is. The thing I like the most about Hacksaw Ridge is not anything that has to do with performances. It's the directing of Mel Gibson. It's the way that he shot everything. It's like how up and in your face it is. It just, I love how that was done. And I think in a year that if they didn't pretty much screw themselves by releasing it way too early, Patriots Day would probably be in this lineup too.
I mean, too late.
Yeah. It should have been released where it would have been given these qualifying runs, like you saying before. Like we had this conversation off camera.
Sometimes
they're good, sometimes they're bad.
Sometimes they really work, like American Sniper.
Oh, big time for American Sniper.
And a lot of times they don't.
I wish Patriots Day could have been American Sniper this year, but I mean, Hacksaw. I don't think they would have nominated both Patriots Day and Hacksaw Ridge the same year. So that's way too much war, man. Way too much war.
Fucking Patriots Day's not war.
No, way too carnage happening. It's still a war. It's a war on terror.
Should we move on before you?
But yeah, Gibson getting in here, I don't have an issue with. I mean, it's not like what I was saying about Mad Max last year to bring it back to Gibson somewhat. But the thing is, I mean, this is an okay lineup. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I'd be happy for Villeneuve if it didn't irk me so much that I was predicting him for so long and then stopped right about the last month.
See, that's the thing. When you do predictions like this, you're always going to have that thought process. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Best Picture. We called this. There were 9. We've said 9 the entire season. There were 9.
Everybody else in the world called it that you take the PGA lineup, you take out Deadpool, and we had it. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing this. I was like, where the hell is Moonlight?
We'll get to that in a minute. The Best Picture lineup is Arrival, Fences, Hacksaw Ridge, Hidden Figures, Hell or High Water, La La Land, Lion, Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight. No silence here. A lot of people, even us, were calling it to get in at the last minute. Even a lot of people were. I was seeing it a lot of places. Ashley went with Loving, which, given the fact of what it did overall, I guess it makes sense why it missed. I fell on my sword when it came to Nocturnal Animals and 20th Century Women, but to their credit, like I said before, Nocturnal Animals I think should probably be in here too, maybe it was a little too out there.
The thing you probably should have noticed, though, when you suggested Nocturnal Animals in Picture, I know BAFTA hadn't happened yet.
Right.
But it was the same trend every time.
Mm.
Every place that Nocturnal Animals did really well and had like Tom Ford get in and had one of the actors get in.
Wouldn't get in the
one
picture.
Get in. It never got in picture.
Right. I thought the Oscars were going to break that trend, to be honest. 20th Century Women, I predicted for a lot of things, especially when the categories, and then when I saw when its placement fell, I'm not extremely shocked that it didn't get in. Very happy with Arrival getting in here, even though I didn't predict it. I probably should have. It was one I took out at the very last minute, because I rewatched the video so I could write this stuff down this morning, and I realized that I took out Arrival and Jackie. Well, Jackie was proven to be correct, but Arrival I probably shouldn't have. I was always in denial about Hacksaw Ridge. I'm not going to deny that. When it comes down to it, it didn't fit the lineup that I thought made sense. Neither did Hidden Figures. I still don't think either one, but then again, that's just me saying that. But I understand why. Whether I like it or not, I understand why. I'm not, absolutely, steaming mad about things this year. There's really no reason to be mad about certain things. Am I happy that Hidden Figures did so well? Not really. But, I mean, I understand why. Am I happy that Hacksaw Ridge did so well and other movies didn't? Not really, but I understand why. So I'm going to completely understand why they did what they did this year. And I'm not going to have Extreme Venom. The only way I would have had Extreme Venom at this point would probably have been if Deadpool would have got anything. But that's a personal bias other than anything. And you know that if you've been watching the network for a long time. But that didn't happen, so I don't have a reason to really snap on things. Am I upset certain things missed? Absolutely. Of course, we're always going to be. But I don't really have that fire this year because there's no reason to. Everything was kind of paint by numbers this year, to be honest. So.
Well, I don't. I'm very happy for the turnout for Hell or High Water and Fences.
Same here.
And I'm heartbroken about Blunt. So maybe those will balance out in time.
So, let's get to the end of this video. La La Land. 14 nominations, tying All About Eve and Titanic. 3 movies we saw theatrically in 3 different theaters. And that's pretty awesome, to say the least. Granted, I wish we could have saw all of them, in the time they actually came out, not re-releases. But that's not possible.
No,
So
I'm good in this time frame. I don't think I would have been alive in 1950.
no, probably not. But still, neither would have I. But the thing is, this is miraculous. Like when it comes down to it, I said that it was going to it was going to make records. It did. It just tied for the most nominations. Now, the only thing it could have gotten at this point would have gotten like costumes or makeup and hair or anything like that. But
I think the win record's 11, which is Titanic, Ben-Hur, and Return of the King.
I think La La Land has a shot at
Ben-Hur. Yes, Ben-Hur.
Yeah, it's Ben-Hur. I think you've mentioned this on a video before. I think, honestly, bias aside, I will say that La La Land has a really good chance of like either tying that or breaking that record on the Oscars Sunday. Could happen. It's a very good possibility right now. Like you said before, there could be backlash for it winning everything. It's going to do really well at the BAFTAs. SAG, it's not as much in there as it could be. Missing ensemble, but I mean, it's still going to do well. So it's going to be a really, if you like the movie or love the movie, like Ashley and myself do, you're going to have a really awesome Oscar season. If you're indifferent to the movie like AJ is, not to the point of like the Aziz sketch on SNL, somewhat, but not quite, you probably are not going to be a very big fan of the rest of the Oscars, and you're going to wonder, why is this not winning? Why is this not winning? Well, it's just, we don't vote for the Oscars, they do, so that's pretty much the end of that. Any thoughts on the Oscar predictions before we sign off?
I think I'm done with this.
Ashley?
Now we just wait for
Pleased to see Arrival get 8.
Yeah, same here.
Second billing alongside Moonlight. And the amount of films that only have one. So obviously, Wikipedia only tries to stress the ones that have got multiple ones. But having a quick look through, Loving's obviously got one. Captain Fantastic's got one. Lobster's got one. 20th Century Women's got one. Yeah, there's quite a bit in there, surprisingly.
Right. So that being said, if you haven't seen all of the Best Picture nominees, your local AMC, most likely, if you're in a bigger city, will be doing a Best Picture marathon. They're going to be doing 2 days, or they're going to be doing a 24-hour event in some cinemas. Not a lot, but some of them. If you go to amctheaters.com, you can find out more information on that. And also, if you haven't seen them yet, there's a lot of the films that are available on DVD and Blu-ray right now. They're available. I don't know how many are on Netflix. I know a few of that are. Or if you haven't seen them yet, try to see some of these movies theatrically if you haven't yet. Honestly. And AJ and myself, especially, because we've got our Best of the Year video, and a lot of the stuff we just talked about, we're going to talk about again. So, there's that. So once again, follow along with the other segments here on the Popcast Network. Thank you again for joining us for this award season. And we've got this Sunday, the Screen Actors Guild Awards with the BAFTAs coming up next month. And then we've got the Independent Spirit Awards and then the Oscars. So we've got our Oscar predictions coming up very soon, our BAFTA predictions coming up soon, and our Spirit Award predictions coming up soon, along with the Best of the Year. And then we're done with 2016, and we can move on quite literally in every way possible. So, that being said, Ashley, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
No problem. It's always good to see this thing. And how #Roger Deakins never wins. Oh, I had to get in there.
And once again, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. Until the next video, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.